All right. Hello and Jong. Welcome to Mongoose Live. It is a blessed, wonderful Tuesday, well, afternoon in Fresno, but evening in Detroit and evening in the Midwest and the East Coast. Thank you for joining me tonight. Tonight we have a very, very interesting guest. I decided that I would do a series on emerging Hmong artists. And so these are artists that you may have seen already or you may not have seen, but these are artists that I think are exceptionally talented. They warrant your attention. And so tonight, as you are fully aware, because you are here, my guest is none other than the beautiful, lovely NOU from Detroit, and we're gonna talk to her and get to know her a little bit.
I
But
didn't get that. Could you try again?
my my watch is talking to me. Um, but welcome to Mongoose Live. If you've never been here, welcome. If you are here, this is very extremely interactive. I like to have guests come up and say hi. They can, if you so will it, you can actually just message me on my Facebook page, and you can actually come live with us and ask new questions in person if you liked. If not, you can always send us a question in the chat and interact with us. But again, say hi, be friendly. Let NOU and I know that you are here. You can help this channel simply by liking and sharing. All those watching right now, take one moment and just share on your social media page. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Mongoose on YouTube, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. You can also find NOU on various media. Also, I'm going to show it to you in just one sec from her link tree. So if you are here, do say hi. Let me know that you're here, and we'll get things started. Okay, let's check this out really quick here. So for those who don't know, NOU is an extremely talented Hmong artists coming from the Detroit area. I'm going to take one moment to just look at her footage. She recently performed at the Grand Rapids Asian Pacific Festival, which I think was in June or July. And we've got some really cool footage of that also. Let me share her page so that we can kind of walk through. So if you haven't already, definitely check NOU on Facebook and her other media spots. Let's see if I'm sharing this correctly. Yes, I am sharing it correctly. So this is actually her Facebook. She's got a lot of interesting information on here. You can contact her here. Congratulations to NOU. She recently acquired 2,000 followers. Yay. So that's a huge step. One of the hardest things about becoming an artist is having the patience and gaining fans. It's really, really hard at first. And so I applaud NOU for sticking it through and getting all those fans. So here's NOU here. Very nice. Her birthday was actually this past 23rd, which would be Sunday, I believe. And happy birthday to NOU. And then also on that same day, she released her single "Have It Bak." And so this is her page here. We're gonna watch this in just one sec. Really cool footage of NOU. And of course, yes, if you're here, then you know Mongoose Live, where NOU is joining us tonight. Feel free to join us and interact. Her new song here, "Have It Bak," just recently came out. NOU has a really interesting. She has some really interesting posts because I've actually scanned through a lot of her posts already. She puts a lot of astronomy up, so I'm gonna have to ask her a little bit about her love or her curiosity with astronomy, because she puts up astronomy stuff quite a bit. This is footage of her performing in Grand Rapids. And here again, NOU reaching 2,006 days ago. Congratulations to her. But let me actually show you her that little bit of footage of NOU performing. Um, okay, very good. Let's pull that up really quick here. Oh, let's see. Yes, perfect. This is NOU performing "Have It Bak." I'll have her explain the footage in just one second. Let's see here. Okay. So this is her actually performing "Have It Back." If you haven't already, do her a favor by. Oh, before I do this, let's not do this quite yet. There's something I do want to show you before I show you this. I wanted to show you news link tree. So if you on her Facebook page, you can click her link tree page, and you can get it right here. Um, you can listen to new single. She has merch out, and she has also several other songs. But the two main songs that I was familiar with was also what was Turn and then Have It Back. Those are the ones that we're gonna, for the most part, be listening to. But new informing that she has actually about 6 songs out, so you can definitely listen to them on here. And new also has a specific site for her where you can join a fan club and get updates and whatnot. And of course, you can find her on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and everywhere else. Very impressive. Oh, here are the songs: "Kiss Me," "Take You There," "Superbia," "All Right," and "Gravity." I'm gonna have to. I didn't know about those songs, so I'm gonna have to definitely check them out. So let's see here. Okay, so we're gonna listen to her song "Take It Back," and uh, if you haven't, you can view it on her social media. Have It Back. I'm sorry, Have It Back.
This is called Have It Bak. I made a wish, then you appeared. In just 24 days, you're no longer there. Lost in too soon, yeah, I lied to you. Nothing good comes from not telling the truth. That overnight success ended way too soon.
So I kind of insisted that new let me show this because the live recording shows you a different aspect of her voice too. Very raw.
Flipping the timeline, but you kept on trying. I'm a thief at heart, knew I'd break it from the start. Thinking of that, can I have it back? Broke it into pieces just to put it back together. It's my weakness, I'm really good at that. This song is about losing somebody. No! That birthday wish upon a flame, it burned so intensely and blew out in rain. Energy aligned, but timing was hard. So good to know you were nothing at all. Everywhere I turn, I'm haunted, there you are. Can't escape the feeling, buried in my heart. Hey friend, no love, goodbye to bare hugs. Wishing you peace, remember me please. I felt the burn, it had been so bad. Flipping the timeline, but you kept on trying. I'm a thief at heart, knew I'd break it from the start. Thinking of that, can I have it back? Broke it into pieces just to put it back together. It's my weakness, I'm really good at that. I felt the burn, it had been so bad. Flipping the timeline, but you kept on trying. I'm a thief at heart, knew I'd break it from the start. Thinking of that, can I have it back? Broke it into pieces just to put it back together. It's my weakness, I'm really good at that. Thief at heart, knew I'd break it from the start. Thinking of that, can I have it back? Broke it into pieces just to put it back together. It's my weakness, I'm really good at that.
So very nice, very nice. So without further ado, we're 12 minutes in. Let's bring on new.
Hello.
New.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm
It
so
is
excited. I'm a little nervous.
is the lovely new all the way from Detroit. Thank you for taking the time to come onto Mongoose and join this session of emerging artists. How are things in Detroit?
Things are good. this weekend. I don't know if I should be looking at the camera or you. It's but
Either
these
way.
are great. They are the weather is really nice right
Hmm.
now, but I think it starts to get colder, and this is when I kind of dread the winter. It gets a little depressing, but yeah, everything's good. How about you?
Good. In Fresno, we're probably seeing mid 70s still.
Okay.
Um, the evenings are getting a little chilly, like como no giống cái going sa, you want to wear a jacket,
Same
uh,
here.
but
It's
it's
similar.
nice. Usually Fresno, the way I remember things is by Halloween. Yep, it's jacket time.
Yeah,
So
I've never been there, so
you've
when
never
we
been to Fresno?
nope.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to come to Fresno. We've got the biggest New Year new.
I know. I keep hearing that you guys have shortened it from like a week as how, it's been like that forever now to what, 4 days or something?
Yeah, really interesting with COVID. I think last year it may have been 4 days. I think this year it might be even shorter.
Really?
Um, yeah, so there, it's hard to predict because, as the organizers, I'm assuming they don't know that if it's going to get shut down for COVID reasons and whatnot, and
Right.
so it's going to be a little shorter.
But is it indoors or outdoors?
It's actually outdoors. So they
Yeah.
have a couple buildings. They have a big stage outside, and then they've got another stage and another in a pretty sizable building on the inside where they do the pageant inside concurrently
Hmm.
while they're doing performances outside. So it's
Ah,
really interesting.
that
It's
makes sense.
not what it used to be though. It's a little bit more. There's definitely more booths, but in my opinion, less people in the traditional wear.
Less
I wonder.
people?
Less people. Yeah, I wonder if my chat's not working. I'm not getting usually people are saying hi. No one's saying hi. I think everyone just wants to say what we have to say.
Maybe no one
Um,
wants to say hi. That's okay.
gosh, be friendly to new. Be friendly to Mongoose. Say hi if you're here, so that way we know that you're here. It may be that the chat's not working. I don't know. I've never had the chat not work, but so recently, thank you, New. I got a really nice gift from you.
Yay, you
Um,
guys. Awesome.
So New sent me this nice little gift with this nice sticker inside announcing her new release of Have It Back, which we just listened to, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But New, so let's assume because these are emerging artists, let's assume that nobody knows you. I think
Yes.
people know you, but let's assume nobody knows you. Tell us about yourself.
Yep. So my name is New. I was born and raised here in Michigan. So I've been here all my life. And first generation Hmong American.
Mhm,
My mom lives in Minnesota. My dad is still here in Michigan. All my siblings are here.
mhm,
Michigan is all I've ever known.
mhm,
And so a little bit of background of myself growing up in the Metro Detroit area.
mhm,
There's not that many Hmong people, but we have our small little pockets of our community. And going to school in the area. I studied at the College for Creative Studies in advertising. So I
mhm,
have my degree in advertising design.
mhm,
Once I was done with that, then I just kind of, I got married and then I had kids, and then I opened up a few family businesses with my husband.
mhm,
And here I am years later, finally working on music, and just, finally doing what I've always wanted to do, which is to write songs.
mhm.
So that's kind of like everything, combined.
So how long have you been performing, or how long have you been doing music?
Yeah.
What took this long to finally start kind of putting stuff out?
I'm a procrastinator. So this is, falls in line with me naturally. No, I think, it was, when I think back about why it took me so long, I don't really have any regrets per se because I was such a different person. I wouldn't say different person, but my head was completely like somewhere else, right? Compared
Mhm,
to where it's at now. Obviously, my mom, I have kids, you know what I mean? And, life experiences are just different from when you were like 16 or something of that nature. But during that time in my teens, when I was listening to Paradise.
Oh boy,
You know,
let's not have a talk about Paradise.
yeah, and music, the Hmong music in that time, and obviously like 90s R&B and just
Mhm.
all that good stuff, right?
Well, let's talk your musical influences.
Yeah.
Um, how would you describe your music for those who have not had a chance to listen yet?
So my music, you know, I don't really want to box myself up because I'm still in the exploration stage. I'm at a very early stage of just finding my footing, figuring out what it is that I really want to do. But my love has always been like R&B and pop, right? R&B and pop,
Mhm,
and so a lot of the times, I gravitate towards that. Some of my musical influences back then and still now, they've shaped in a way a lot of how I write my music and the beats that I choose and just, things like
mhm.
that. And so those people would be like Brandy, Monica, um, Aaliyah, and then, on to like Britney and Christina Aguilera, Beyonce, now like Janae Aiko, Summer Walker, Lana Del Rey, just like it's just a bunch of amazing and talented women who I feel influence like me to do music and write music. But yeah, so I'm still exploring, but I would say it's like obviously pop and some R&B. That's
Um,
yes.
you recently performed at the Grand Rapids Asian Pacific Festival, and so there were a bunch of Hmong artists there. Was that the first time where Hmong people were invited there?
In Grand Rapids.
Uh-huh, that festival?
Um, Honestly, that was I think this was their 6th year doing
Oh,
this.
okay, so it's
So
not like just mhm,
I didn't know anything about it, never heard of it before. Grand Rapids is like 2.5 hours away from me.
mhm,
So, and there's not a huge Hmong population out there, right? And I think the Grand Rapids Asian Pacific Foundation, they focus on all, Asian ethnicities. And
mhm,
uh, I believe that the Great Lakes Hmong Association finally decided to, reach across the aisle and work with other organizations other than Hmong people. So I thought that was a huge stepping stone for, Hmong Michiganders. And
mhm.
so, I was super fortunate to just have the opportunity. And yeah, it was my first time actually really performing, to be honest. Like I did little things before then. And I think you had asked this earlier, but I started music in like 2019, right? In August 2019. And it wasn't I was just learning. I'm still learning, right?
Mhm.
And then 2020 was the pandemic, and everything was just kind of slow. Um, and then 2021, and then I started releasing music. So,
What
but yeah.
what what happened in 2019? I don't know why, but I just saw a zillion comments flood up on my feed.
Mm,
So what happened in 2019 that where what was there a certain trigger point where you said, "Okay, I'm just," was it
yeah.
just as simple as, "I'm just gonna do it now," or did something open and happen?
Yeah. So in 2019, well, if any of you guys own businesses, right, you're self-employed, all that stuff, you know how hard it is, to just have a kind of a job where you never clock out, right? And
Mhm,
so I was losing a lot of that creativity juice, that I was just so used to having when I was in college, and being
mhm,
surrounded by a creative group of individuals who are talented and are just free thinking and innovative and just what I mean, like expressing themselves. And I found myself like just doing these, like I'm not the type of person who wants to do a or who can even survive in like a 9 to 5 setting and doing the same thing over and over. Some people are wired for that, but I don't think that I am that person. And I
mhm,
was losing that. I needed like a release, an exit, you know what I mean, to kind of be creative again. And I remember telling my husband, like, I don't write music anymore. I don't write songs anymore. You know what I mean?
mm,
And obviously there was that huge gap, from when I was a young, aspiring singer, right? As all of us are.
mhm,
And then to when, I opened businesses and had kids, right? And was married. So My husband's like, well, you should just do it yourself. And I don't play any instruments, right? I don't play any
Mm,
instruments. So I was just like, how am I going to do this? And, music, like back then, music and the thought of even making music, for me at least, was like far beyond my reach, like out in space, right? Like
mm.
you just hear about, if you want to get a record deal or anything of that nature, you have to go visit the record labels and drop a CD. Like that was the thought, right?
Yeah,
Fast forward, 20 plus years or something of that
it's
nature.
like 90s. Yeah,
Yeah. And now in 22, and even before that, you can stream your music. You can be as independent, of an artist as you want to be and upload everything yourself, front the money
it's so
yourself.
much more convenient to do it.
Convenient.
Yeah.
And so I just kept thinking, like, my mom, who also is a singer,
Who's
she
your
has
mom?
my mom. Let me think of her stage name because that's probably what you guys would know. But like, she wasn't like top tier, with all the other like Jami Hyung and all them. But she just did it, out of her basement, like most of you guys probably did, right? But her name, I believe, on her CD was, I think I have it. Hold on.
All right. So, really interesting inside talk. You guys know the deal here. It's highly interactive. Let me just check and see. Let's see. Has anyone messaged me?
Whoops.
Um, Chris, thank you. So my chat finally came up. So let's just say hi to some folks. New, I'm gonna say hi to some folks really quick.
I
I
don't have
think you know this guy here.
Yes. Hi,
Hi,
Pele.
Pele. Okay, like the soccer player. He says, "What's up? Let's go." Gao. So your Hmong name is Gao Nu. Um,
Yes.
and we have Kong Vu here also. Kong from Minnesota. Kong's also an artist. He's actually one of the other emerging artists
Oh,
that
cool.
will be interviewed. I think
I
he's.
hope
I'm
I
gonna
get
have to
to
look
meet
it up to confirm, but he's later this week. And then Pele again says hello. So they're saying hello multiple times because I couldn't see any of this. Uh,
they were trying
and
to help.
then we have Alex Cha. Alex Cha is from the band Rock On. He's coming out. He's out of Clovis. Extremely talented.
Okay.
And let's see, we have Chris here. Chris is notorious for coming on live and asking questions. So Chris from Seattle, you've got a watcher from Seattle.
Cool.
Pal Kang Yang is from Sacramento. Thank you for joining us, Pal.
Thank you.
Um, and Sushi is from Shoya Sha band in the Midwest also. But we'll get back to the rest of them. Let's continue.
I think,
Show us
yes.
that
So
music.
no, my mom, I think she went, I think she just used her name, which was Ma Yang.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she used her maiden name, but yeah. So back to that, I just kept thinking about my mom because she had spit out like 3 tapes, right? 3 albums at that time with, I just found this, 2 cassette albums with,
Wow, you've got cassettes.
yeah. And I was telling her that I wanted to remix them and do something over them.
Mm.
It even has our old like address on here, you know what I mean? But I thought about her, and because she was a stay-at-home mom, she had 5 of us
Mm.
in Detroit in the suburbs, and I just really thought about how she was able to do that and self-teach, piano, or
Oh,
keyboard.
she teaches piano?
No, she self-taught herself. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
okay, I see.
Yeah. So I just
Which was
really,
really hard at that time to do, by the way, to
yeah.
self-teach.
And I just thought, like, she was able to do all of this by herself with very limited
Mhm.
resources, very,
Mhm.
like little money. And, like in this year, day and age, I should be able to do more. Right. And so that really pushed me. And that really kind of just like, spearheaded this whole journey where I was like, all right, mom, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I got to do this for myself. I'm like, I'm not getting any younger. I don't want to look back and have any regrets. Right. So
Mhm.
that's essentially how it started. My husband bought me a mic, the interface, all that. And then I got my speakers and tried to set up my home studio. And yeah, so it's just kind of been a fun journey. It has been a fun journey.
I'm gonna throw a question at you that Pal asked. And so here's Pal's question. He must know you. because he's asking some very specific questions.
Yeah.
Question for NOU. I know you did modeling and acting in the past moons ago. What inspired you to go into music, and who are current artists right now that you would like to collaborate with one day?
Oh, okay. So yes, I did do some modeling and acting. I do it here and there now. What inspired me to get into music? We all love music, right? And as far as like wanting to be at the forefront, I've always loved writing. Writing is where my true love lies, right? I actually don't think I have a great voice. And I'm going to put this out there because I am still working to strengthen my vocals, right? And to accept my capacity, to like my range, and learning about this instrument right here, and how to be good to it, like getting enough sleep, things like that. So I'm learning a lot about that, but I've always loved to write, right? To write poetry, any thoughts that I have, anything that I was going through, like in my journal. So that is, I guess it's just life experiences that has always inspired me to write. And any current artists right now that I would love to like to collaborate with. I don't know anyone off the top of my head at this moment. Even if I was to think of like, people that I have, I don't know. That's funny. I'd never even thought about that.
And
I feel like
that's the big thing to do now. Collaborate.
yeah. I think I'm just like focused on myself right now, trying to like learn my sound and like, figure things out and develop like to the best of my ability. So I'll get back at you.
Here's my question to you. Now, so altogether, how long have you been singing? Because prior to you telling us that, okay, I'm developing my voice and not, so I think your voice sounds great. I would not have, well, I guess the question is, how long have you been singing? Because it sounds like you can sing. You can sing great, in my opinion.
So I definitely have come a long ways. I, just love to sing, right? Like anyone else, and just singing around the house and things like that. But I never had any formal training. I did once, like for like a week time span, maybe a month, when I was younger, but I just couldn't get a ride to and from, the classes. So, like a decade or so goes by, and as I started getting into it, just learning the importance of like warm-ups and stuff like that, and getting a coach, and just just really like taking it seriously, I would say that it was probably like 2021. But I mean, I've always sung all my life, you know what I mean? Like just like anyone else, I just never took it to that level, and I honestly never really felt like I had good control of my voice. And so that's one part where I feel like I'm glad I never started making music and recording back then, because I probably wouldn't want to listen to it. But then there's a part of me that does wish that I did start earlier, so that I could train my voice just so much, earlier. And I'd be like so much better.
Very nice. So Lisa says hi.
Hi.
Says hi to NOU.
Yes.
Chris says hi again. And we've got Boltro Vu, hello, NOU and Long. Claudia Yang Lee says hi, NOU.
Yes. Hello, Claudia. That's my sister.
Lisa says that we're here. I saw NOU a few weeks ago at a family's graduation party. Is that where you performed Have It Bak?
It was totally unplanned, and it was like the end of the night, like I think majority of people left already. Everyone's just having a good time, and they were opening up the stage for like karaoke and all that. So I forget if it was her or someone else who put my name up, and I was like, oh my God, like nervous, like what am I gonna sing? And I was like, I can't think of anything. And then I was like, I have my phone, I can sing my new release that's coming out. So I just put on Have It Bak and sung that. So that's
where was this at?
This was in small town La Crosse, which I'd never gone to before. So it was really interesting because I didn't expect it to be so mountainous and like beautiful.
How many Hmong people would you say live in the Detroit area roughly?
I don't know. I'm gonna give a wrong number.
Enough so that you guys more or less know each other?
Yes.
Okay, so like David Yang's from Detroit.
Wait, who?
David Yang, the singer. So David Yang, you don't know David then. So
You maybe okay. So I'm really bad with names, especially when they're like very similar, or there could be a million David Yanks, unless you're talking about David Yang from California, but he's not from Detroit.
he's not from there. Okay.
If I saw his, do you have a picture? If I saw his face, I would probably be able to say if I knew him or not.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
That
Great.
said, we've got some other people here that I want to say hi to. Dao, he's a kickboxer actually
Oh,
in the
cool. He's
Fresno
saying hi.
area. We've got John. John is actually one of the another emerging artist. He's actually a Hmong producer. He
Oh,
is
cool.
actually in my opinion, he's like a sleeper producer, like a dark horse. He's extremely talented.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
can't
would
say
love to
anything.
connect with all these people. So, do I
Yeah.
just go into the comments later and snoop around?
Well, this is this is their Facebook, so I think you can click on it if you want to say hi to them. Say, hey, you want to collaborate, John?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
very good. Oh, we've got a viewer from Alaska too.
Oh, cool. Hi,
Alaska.
Alaska.
And we've got a viewer from Vietnam. Sun Lawrence from Vietnam.
Hi, 你好什么?
Sun, I think is it even morning there yet? It might be more early morning there. Oh, here's a question for you. Okay. So being a Hmong wife and mom, how supportive has your family been?
Hold on, I'm fixing my camera. Okay. Oh, Lisa. Okay, thank you for this great question. Being a Hmong wife and mom, how supportive? Okay. So this has been an interesting journey for me because, well, I own businesses and, that's like obviously my support system, right? And so when it comes to doing hobbies and things like that, it was really hard for me to sort of let it be known that this is what I want to do, right? Because I feel like I was expected to, assume my role to help the business and, thrive and do whatever I was capable with my skill and expertise as far as like in marketing and things like that, and managing. So it really was hard because I felt like my dreams or what I wanted to do was being pushed down and wasn't being considered. And so even though like my husband was the one who supported me and said you should do it yourself, what are you waiting for, purchase me the mic and everything, I still felt like he didn't take it seriously. I still felt like he was kind of like, oh, it's just a hobby, right? And but I kept screaming at the top of my lungs like, hey, I want to make this a full-time thing. How do I make this a full-time thing? I don't know anything else other than working and doing something that's more traditional. Like that transition in general has just been a little interesting. But yeah, so now it's a little better, except it's a slow process and I just have to be patient. So, but yeah, that's how it's
Very
been.
nice. Very nice. Someone says collaborate with Kalia Universe.
She is extremely talented. I don't know if I have any business being next to her, to be honest.
Yeah, that girl can sing. John, who again is a producer,
Thank you.
says your voice, your sound is pretty well polished. Keep it going.
Thank you.
And he says, keep going at it with the microphone, and as silly as you will sound making weird noises. I agree. The more you're more comfortable on the mic, the more control you will have.
Yeah, that is true.
So let's talk music, creation of music. What's your so you've got a piano in the back, so you must play some degree of music. But then what's your creative, I guess, algorithm, I guess, creative method? How do you write music?
Yeah. Oh, so I love this because I'm always on Instagram watching other people's, like methods and like just how they do things. And I think it's so interesting. Even the people I've met along the way, other artists, right? It's just really interesting. So I always have my phone, as everyone else, does. And I know a lot of artists will record, and I do this as well. So the thing is that, again, I don't play any instruments. I have this keyboard back here because my kids were learning piano.
Mhm.
Um, but when I was taking vocal lessons, I needed it to, we were doing Zoom lessons. So it
Mm.
helped my coach if I was able to kind of like, play along if needed. So that's why it's there. I have been able to play certain melodies by ear, if I was really like determined, which I've only ever been able to do. If you know Gran Torino, the Gran
Mhm.
Torino song in Gran Torino that plays
Mm.
at the end,
Mhm.
really beautiful. But other than that, I don't play any instruments. And so because of that, a lot of my process in the beginning of all this, before I even like reached out to producers who made beats and musicians, it was all in my head. I would hear melody
Mm.
and I would sing it and record it on my phone as I heard it. And so I realized quickly once I started music in 2019 and met all these producers, I realized that it was really hard to find producers who are going to take my song and create a beat behind it, right? And it was just so much
Mm.
easier, I found, to take a producer's beat and then write on top of it, right?
Mhm.
So I have a lot of these songs in the vault that has a melody to it, which I'm not married to how I think it should sound,
Mm.
but there is still something special in those moments when I come up with the
Mm.
lyrics or the music, and it can be inspired by anything. Mainly it's like when I'm driving. Oh,
Mm.
like I don't know, just I'm staring out the window and looking out
Mm.
at the sky and thinking about a million things as I'm driving. And so I'll just whip out my phone and record, one-liners and whatever. And so my phone always has this collection of go-tos. So if I'm ever in the studio or have like a jam session with a friend, um, I can go to my phone if I'm having like brain fart or something, and I can, just kind of search for a keyword or, you know, a topic, and it will kind of just like spark something and I'll write off of it. Or sometimes I have full flushed out songs, with verses and choruses, and then there's a beat that I can kind of lay that over and tweak it to. So
Mm.
there's various ways of doing, of writing for me, but that has been my experience so far.
Mm.
Yep.
What I found really interesting because I've been following you. So for Grand Rapids, you actually
Mhm.
sang one of your songs with a guitarist.
Yeah.
Um, and was that the first time? It looked like that was one of the first times you played with a guitarist, from what I was reading.
Yep. So it was the first time my coach, Susan Calloway, she was very adamant on me performing with a musician.
Hmm.
We had went through my entire set. She helped me craft like which song I should sing first. And I don't think, people really understand what performers go through, right?
Hmm.
Because you do so much behind the scenes stuff.
Hmm.
And so when I was working with my coach, like we spent, a lot of time just really figuring out, what you're saying in between, what your song is about, the message that you're trying to get across, all of that. And she was like, I really, really want you to perform with a musician because there's nothing better than having live music. She's like, you could have, all these backtrackings play, but you know, there's nothing, and right? There's nothing better than
Hmm.
having a live musician there with you where you can feed off of and bounce, back and forth with. And so
Hmm.
I, went and searched and I asked friends, I'm like, hey, like, are you willing to go with me to Grand Rapids? I know it's not that close, but we would do a couple songs, and yeah, so I had my friend Yaman come out. He was great. And yeah, that was the first time I did an acoustic version with Turn, and I did a cover. I did, which I don't think I posted, but "I Am Woman" by Emmy Melly. So
Hmm.
yeah, it was.
So I love live music. I'll pick live music over a track any day. I'm not saying tracks are bad; they're good too. If you don't have a choice, then definitely do a track. But when you play for an actual musician, the music can cheat a little bit. Like the Like if Fong, the lead singer for Paradise,
Mhm.
he hates to sing on tracks.
Oh,
Um, and the reason being is because music needs to breathe. Like when the crowd get excited, that when the crowd
yes.
gets excited, you naturally play faster and you start like feeding on each other. It's kind of weird. You can
Interesting.
feel the energy, and then um, in music, there's what we call a retard. Retard is when you can naturally slow the music and then you speed it up and it gets exciting really fast. So you can do that, but you'll never do that with a track unless you made a track that did that.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think you've kind of been started on the addiction of live music, and
yeah.
so nothing can really replace it. But that being said, you mentioned turn, and so why don't we take a moment? I think probably the best way you go, if you see fit, new, why don't I play turn?
Mhm.
Turn is New's first video that she released as an actual music video.
Yes.
Now, New, you had songs before that, but this was the one that, in my opinion, well, this is what made me notice you. Like I said, oh, that's a really beautiful, well shot
Video.
video, and it's an excellent song. And so why don't we look at Turn, and I think some viewers probably have already seen it. Um, if this is your first time seeing it, then I'm gonna have New give you the commentary on it, and we'll just kind of talk about it as it's playing. And if it's your first time, then you definitely want to replay it on her social media, Spotify and whatnot. What's your preferred if fancy where should I listen to your music? Where would you say your preferred
Um,
location is?
so my music is only available through streaming right now.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, if you have Spotify or iTunes or Apple Music, I would prefer those places. But YouTube is also, an option as well. For those of you who don't have like memberships, for Spotify or iTunes or Apple Music. But yeah, that's where, and you can also listen on my website, I think. Well, I know on my website there's all the links, but don't quote me.
All right,
You check it out.
let's check it out.
You check it out.
So,
Wait, so
let me
I'm
see.
talking about this like over the video?
Yep. Well, let's see here. Let's talk a little about the video first. So let's give a little context. So this came out in like January, February-ish. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this came out the beginning of this year, and to what you were saying, yes, I have some songs before that had released before this one, but as an advertising, you know, major, if you will, like I know how important marketing is. I know how important visual aids are, right? And especially in the type of world that we live in with like video and streaming and all that stuff, I just knew that I needed to put something together that sort of, that just helped people kind of connect the dots. So that's why I did this. So yes, this scene is actually uh, in my neighborhood, in my house, and no, there's lagging, but that's okay.
Is it lagging?
A little bit. I
A
think,
little bit.
but yeah. So we actually did a couple shoots. The first one, like some shots able to weren't usable, so we had these insert shots afterwards. And luckily, it was a nice day. This is actually my pond in my backyard, and my boat.
Mm.
So I just wanted to utilize the things that I had and my resources. Um,
Who shot the video for you?
Yeah, so my cousin had shot this video, and he does videos as well. He is really great at what he does, but he mainly does like rap videos. And I just, asked him, and I'm hoping like I know you do rap videos, and it's a completely different look, but will you be interested? So he decided
Now,
to.
who's your cousin?
Yeah, so my cousin's name is Preston, and he lives here in Michigan as well. Yeah,
Oh, very nice.
cool. But yep, so
Um,
that's my backyard.
what's Turn about? If you were to summarize Turn.
Yeah, so Turn is about leaving a situation that you've been wanting to leave for a long time. Maybe it's really toxic, right?
Hmm.
And you're finding, just liberty in the decisions that you're making for yourself. Like you're putting yourself first, right? Before the situations that don't serve you. But then, like relationships are hard. Sometimes you find yourself going back to it, right? To old, toxic cycles, and you find yourself in those situations. So, but you also love this person. You've spent a lot of time with this person,
Mm.
and to let go, it can be kind of bittersweet, right? It's like you're looking
Mm.
forward to the future and it's going to be great because you're excited about it, but there's also a little bit of a tug and pull. You know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
so
These
essentially,
are beautiful shots. Really
yeah.
beautiful.
Yep, they are. I was really happy with the outcome as far as like cinematography goes. So,
Hmm. Um, how long did it take you to write and produce Turn?
ooh, so I wish I could have a quicker turnaround, but everything right now at this point is about balance because I have so much on my plate, and here I am trying to squeeze this in. Um, I want to say it took about a year. Every single song that I put out, I feel like took about a year, and I want to be able to expedite that process, right? And just be a lot quicker. So yeah, I think that was like about a year.
Wow.
Actually, no. I think I wrote the song back in 2018 or 19.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're having a problem with Facebook. So I
Oh,
think a lot of people have dropped off because Facebook is, I think from what people are writing, they're having difficulties. But if you're watching, I think the only way to watch it, because Facebook is pooping out on me, is so this stream goes to three places. It goes to Mongoose, goes to my Longhorn site, and it goes to my YouTube site. And so I think these are the YouTube viewers. And so we had a lot of viewers before, and so um, it looks like it logged off a little bit. New.
so
Why don't I do this? Why don't I log us off and I'll restart us and
okay.
let's see